And such is the excitement generated by the heavyweight division that this O2 arena, which is built with tiers that are very steep, and the seating is pretty much perfect for any event that goes on here, and all the best music stars around the world have appeared here over the last dozen years or so, but everybody to get a better view on their feet here before the two men have even made their way to the ring. And on the screens high above us here, around 4 sections of the arena, they've now seen that Anthony Joshua is beginning to make his walk. He's in the bowels of the arena, and he's walking along towards the entrance, way down behind us, some 50 yards or so behind us. 26-year-old Joshua against Dillian Whyte, who's a year older. The two men unbeaten. Joshua hasn't been taken beyond the third round. 5 of his victories have come in the first round, 7 in the second round. Only 2 men have taken him into the third round. A blistering start to his professional career. Very similar to the likes of Mike Tyson and Vladimir Klitschko, Lennox Lewis and Frank Bruno, who blew away their early opposition as well. This the first, though, significant test as a professional for the man who won 4 times in glorious fashion to take Olympic gold at the XL Arena, which is a short ride in the cable car across the river from here. Can he repeat that success now? Can he make the connection between amateur success and professional glory? Over on the far side of the ring is the only British boxer who has ever added a world title to Olympic gold. That's how difficult it is to do. And now some of the officials arrive in the ring. Charlie Giles, president of the British Boxing Board of Control, is holding the coveted Lonsdale belt. Joshua, at the press conference to announce this fight initially 6 or 7 weeks ago, was telling me how he wants to get his hands on that beautiful, cherished belt. He will have to defend it a couple of times to take outright ownership. He will probably move on from this level if he's impressive here this evening. But he's got to win as the lights go down now, and leaving just one single spotlight towards the centre of the ring. 2 steps forward comes Michael Buffer into that spotlight, and very shortly we will see the 2 men.
To Arena London, let's get this party started!
Anthony Joshua will be the first to make his way to the ring here, and being played around the arena on those 4 screens that I was mentioning. Interviews and comments made by Anthony Joshua in the build-up to the fight. A highlight reel of some of his most explosive knockouts. There have been 14 of them in a professional career that is only 26 months old. After 20 months, Mike Tyson had already won the world title, but that is the exception. Vladimir Klitschko, Lennox Lewis, for example, took 4 years.
In the ring at this time, please welcome superstar grime recording artist Stormzy as he brings to the ring Anthony Joshua.
We're inside the building. My name is Stormzy. My name is the problem. Yo, man tryna say he's better than AJ. Top man shut up. Man's been dealing like Beyblade. I ain't rude boy, shut up. Better than AJ, shut up. Best in the ring, not rude boy. Look, top man call me a backup dancer. On stage of the bricks, I'm a backup dancer. If that makes me a backup dancer, the man in your pit, the man in your pit. Man wanna chat about backup dancer. Big man like me with a beard, I'm a big man. Wait, look, army comes everywhere I go. I can't run with my enemy show. Walk in the club with all of my toes. Parties start, everybody go home. Part from the ghetto.
So the artist Stormzy rapping to the delight of his friend Anthony Joshua, who's about to make his way into the arena at the far side. White can beat him, no way, he's been saying here. And Anthony Joshua has been building his fan base, not only across his 2 years and 2 months as a professional, and the cheers greet him at the far end of the arena. He's just limbering up, dancing on his toes. He's already gloved up with black gloves and red trunks. He stands on the stage, slightly elevated. There's a ramp in front of him which will take him down to the arena floor. This is the 5th time that he's fought in this arena, and where he's produced some of his most devastating work. But he is the first to say that this is the toughest test, the most significant demand of his professional career so far. He agreed to walk to the ring first. In many examples of fights like this, there are rows all the way to the failure to sign contracts over who walks to the ring first. It's a big ego issue that Anthony Joshua, when they were about to flip a coin at the final press conference, said, look, let's forget it, I'm more than happy to walk to the ring first. Traditionally, it's the challenger first and the champion second, but Anthony Joshua, with the vacant title at stake here, says, look, let's cut out the messing around and I will walk to the ring, and he does so, and there's almost a smirk on his face. He smiles as he gets very close to us here at ringside. We're just a few feet away. We could almost position the steps for him, and that giant frame now moves up onto the ring apron, slips through the central 2 of the 4 ropes and bounces into the ring now, and swivels around in the centre of the ring in those bright red trunks and the bright red cape, the hooded top, sleeveless as well. Punches the right arm of Michael Buffer. Very, very impressive entrance from Anthony Joshua, and he bows to all 4 sides of the arena. This, one of the most popular prospects in British boxing, and building the attention around him with every passing fight, with every passing impressive knockout. 14 fights unbeaten, and next up to make that long walk to the ring will be Dillian Whyte, unbeaten himself in 16 fights, 27 years old, 4.5 years a professional fighter, but he too facing by far the biggest test of his professional career. Can he live up to his many boasts delivered in various press conferences and set-piece events in the build-up to this fight? A build-up loaded with hostility, with claims and counterclaims from both men about what really happened on that night back in 2009, when Whyte inflicted the first defeat on the amateur career of Anthony Joshua, who squats down with those giant thighs over on the far side of the ring and then limbers up once again almost into the eye line of Michael Buffer, who's holding the microphone in his right hand, waiting to introduce Dillian Whyte. In the eyes of many, apart from those in his own camp, he is the underdog. According to the bookmakers, you can get prices as wide as 8-1 on Dillian Whyte. Anthony Joshua 1-14. For the uninitiated, that means you've got to shell out £14 just to win one. And yesterday, William Hill reported that one punter laid out £100,000 to win just 7,000.
And now coming to the ring from Brixton, the undefeated Dillian, the Body Snatcher
And as we heard and saw a few moments ago on the screens above us here, viewed by people on all 4 sides of the arena, we're now hearing comments and seeing a video highlights reel of the professional career, 4.5 years long, of Dillian Whyte, 27 years of age, born in Jamaica, turned professional in May 2011. After beating Joshua, he had 5 more fights in the amateur ranks, unbeaten in 6 fights, but was then cast out of the amateur ranks when the authorities found that he'd been earning money as a professional kickboxer, and at that stage Dillian Whyte turned to the professional ranks, and it hasn't been without hiccup. Spent 2 years out of the ring from October 2012 until November 2014 because of a positive drugs test for a stimulant found in many gyms around the country, but which he was found to have not checked out enough, and so on appeal the 2-year suspension was upheld and his career was interrupted. He's won 7 in a row since then. 2 screens of bright lights at the top of the ramp are now parted, and in the centre of those 2 screens is Dillian Whyte with his back to the crowd here, and the name Whyte embossed on the upper area of his black top, and he now will turn shortly and face the crowd, and he does. He too bedecked in black gloves, those gloves that have caused so much hassle in the professional ranks so far. 16 fights, he's won all of them, and 13 of them inside the distance. He went the distance 3 times in his first 4 fights, but he's on a run of 12 successive knockouts, flanked here by security personnel as he makes that same walk to the ring in his hooded top, and now he's joined on that walk by his trainer Jonathan Banks, who suffered that colossal defeat 2 weeks ago as the head trainer of Vladimir Klitschko. Can he turn it round here? Dillian Whyte facing the biggest test of his professional career. He's never been beyond 4 rounds, so this could be very, very explosive. Now they make their way just a few feet away from us here. Those same ring steps, they're slightly unsteady, but one of the security guards just holds on to those steps with the bulk of Dillian Whyte, 17 stone, 9 pounds. He weighed at the weigh-in yesterday, and he skips rather awkwardly over the top rope and into the ring and over towards Anthony Joshua, but he's marshalled back towards the red corner, which is on our right here as we look on at ringside, and we are just a few feet away from the ring apron where this action will unfold in a few minutes' time. Michael Buffer is back in the centre of the ring. Dillian Whyte now just being tended to by his cornerman. The last applications of grease around the face. Joshua is standing almost still, just very slightly loosening the legs, staring across the ring at Dillian Whyte, as if to say, you're here now. Is it dawning on you just how big an occasion this is and how significant this will be for the rest of the careers of each of these 2 men here? And Joshua now, deep in concentration, almost pulls Michael Buffer out of the way, but Buffer stands alone in the centre of the ring. Joshua just up on his toes once again, and Richie Woodhall, he's looking ultra confident, ultra relaxed.
Yes, he is indeed. So is Dillian, to be quite honest, Mike. But yeah, Anthony Joshua just looking around, just looking at his opponents, walking very slowly, looks calm, cool, calculated. Here's Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, live on Sky Sports Box Office, Mr. Eddie Hearn for Matchroom Boxing is proud to present the main event of the evening. 2 undefeated heavyweights. Somebody's has got to go. 12 rounds of boxing for the Commonwealth and vacant British Heavyweight Championship. Sponsored by William Hill Vegas, StubHub, Lonsdale, and the motion picture Creed, starring Michael B. Jordan and Sylvester Stallone, in cinemas everywhere, January 15th. Sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control, steward in charge, Charles Giles. Timekeeper at the bell, Michael McCann. The 3 judges scoring are Michael Alexander, Ian John Lewis, and John Kane. And inside the ring, in charge of the action at the bell, your referee, Howard Foster. And now, the officials are ready, the fighters are in the ring, and they are ready. Fight fans, are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black and purple, official weight 17 stone 9 pounds. He holds the WBC International Silver Belt and has a perfect professional record consisting of 16 fights, 16 victories, including 13 big wins by knockout, and his last 12 fights, all wins by KO. From Brixton, the undefeated Dillian, the body snatcher, and across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing red, officially weighing in at 17 stone 7 pounds. Since capturing Olympic gold, he has a perfect professional record, 14 fights, 14 victories, 14 knockouts, and he holds the WBC International Championship. From London, the Olympic gold medal heavyweight fighting pride of the UK, the undefeated Commonwealth heavyweight champion, Anthony Joshua.
Final instructions from referee Howard Foster.
Good fellas, spoke to you both in the dressing room, you both know what I expect. Keep it clean, break straight away when told. Both watch your heads in close, good luck to you both. Touch clubs.
Two men unbeaten in 30 contests. Joshua never beyond 3 rounds. Whyte never beyond 4 rounds. It has to be explosive. It's for the British title, vacated by Tyson Fury. Who will take a step closer to Fury, a step closer to the world title stage?
Seconds out, first round.
So the talking is over then, and the two men exchange jabs at the beginning of the opening round, and then Whyte tries a jab followed by an overhand right. He starts in lively fashion and then goes towards the torso area. Joshua holds his ground, left, right, another attempt from Whyte. And a jab goes through from the man from Jamaica, now living in London. Jab towards the body from Joshua, who steps after his man. Dillian Whyte on the front foot once again. Joshua steps away. Joshua tries a lead left hook. He gets through with one a second time, and he lands a lovely left uppercut. And Whyte, he's backed up onto the ropes as the crowd create a frenzy here at ringside. Another left hook gets through. The two men are swinging away here. There's not much copybook about this. Left hook and a right hand. Much tidier work from Joshua. But they land only on the gloves of Dillian Whyte, who said he would take the fight to Joshua. And he's done just that, trying to hold his ground in the centre of the ring. Bends his knees Whyte, lands a jab to the body. Jab to the head for Anthony Joshua. Lovely overhand right from Joshua. Drives Whyte back to the ropes just above us here. Can't find the follow-up punch though, Joshua, who looks just very slightly apprehensive here. Steps back, smirks at Whyte, who lands a left hook towards the body. Left hook ahead for Joshua, although it only just grazed the chin of Whyte, who gets untidy in trying to throw a left-right combination of his own. Left hand to the body from Dillian Whyte. Strong shots landing from both men as we head into the second half of the first round. We knew it had to be explosive. Another left hook from Joshua. Both men land simultaneously with left hooks, and Whyte looks at his man as if to say, I'm enjoying this, and comes straight back into the fray. Joshua in the centre of the ring throws a couple of jabs, then tries a left hook, another left hook and a right hand, pokes his tongue out at Whyte. He falls under pressure on the ropes just above us. Whyte has to cover up. He's bounced off the ropes again. Whyte is hurt, no doubt about it. Joshua, right hand, left hook, and the same combination all over again. And Dillian Whyte is in desperate trouble. He swings a left hook. Joshua sees it coming, makes him miss. 40 seconds to go in an explosive first round. Whyte on the back foot. He's on unsteady legs. Joshua goes after his man now. Left hook, right uppercut lands on the elbow. And still Joshua now smiles at his man that says, I'm coming to get you. It might not be now, but very soon. And Dillian Whyte takes heavy punishment once again and takes a huge lungful of breath. Tries a right hand. Joshua gets through with a much harder one. Dillian Whyte gamely fighting back with a left hook to the body. Has he ridden out the storm here? Tries another left hook. Joshua holds the ground in the centre of the ring. Last few seconds of the opening round. And Joshua continues after the bell. So too does Dillian Whyte. And Whyte throws a punch fully 10 seconds after the bell. And there is mayhem in the ring here. And there are spectators coming into the ring. And security have lost control here. All of the cornermen are in the ring. Anthony Joshua threw 3 or 4 punches after the bell had sounded. Dillian Whyte drove him back to the ropes just above us here and threw a big winging overhand right fully 10 seconds after the bell had landed. And there are spectators in the ring, there are security personnel in the ring, The Secretary of the British Boxing Board of Control, Robert Smith, over on the far side, is waving everybody out of the ring. We thought it would be explosive in terms of the boxing action, and now it's exploded among the corner teams as well.
Yeah, incredible. We said it was personal, didn't we? But unbelievable boxing in that first round. Josh, his boxing went totally out the window. He just tried to... I told you what was going to happen in terms of the being personal. He wanted to knock him out and knock him out in style. The boxing went out the window. He was just swinging punches in left, right and centre, but he was naughty. Let's get it right. At the bell went, and he hit Dillian Whyte 2 or 3 times afterwards, and then Dillian Whyte came over and threw a big right hand. The referee jumped in between him, and then it's pandemonium. Everyone's jumping in. What a first round. Everyone's got to calm down, Mike.
Seconds out.
And a snarl from Joshua as he comes towards the centre of the ring. The first to rise from the stall. Referee Howard Foster calls a timeout. I don't know if we can hear what he's saying here. In the din of the crowd, we can't, right there in the centre of the ring. But he's warning both men about hitting after the sound of the bell. He's warning both men about relating to the instructions of the referee. Pandemonium in the ring at the end of the first round here. What can Joshua do now? Can he cool the emotions? That's what the best fighters do. They hold themselves together, because otherwise here he could walk onto a punch from a very game Dillian Whyte, who was under pressure for so much of that first round, but came back towards the end of the round to throw a couple of strong shots of his own. Nothing to worry Joshua, but certainly to show Joshua that he isn't beaten at this stage. We're into the second round. First half a minute completed after that delay to the start of the round because of the remonstrating of the referee, Howard Foster. And now Whyte tries to open up with a cluster of punches in the centre of the ring. Joshua defended well. Joshua tries a dipping right hand, and it just whistled past the chin of Dillian Whyte. That would have been danger for the man from Jamaica had it landed, but it didn't. And now Whyte throws a jab towards the torso and a right hand to the chin, and they do get through. And a nice left hook gets through as well from Dillian Whyte here. Left-right combination again from Whyte, and they score. Lively start, impressive start by Dillian Whyte to this, the second round of a scheduled 12. Surely at this pace it can't go all the way. Whyte leads off with a right hand. It was a pawing right hand. Stronger left-right combination from Joshua. Then a jab from Joshua towards the torso area. Tries to drive Whyte back to the ropes. Lands a big overhand right. And Whyte is forced to cover up again. Brilliant right hand from Anthony Joshua. And that swings this round his way. And now a lovely left hook. Right uppercut. Whyte takes them, but his head is rocked back, and he's forced onto the back foot. He swings around almost 180 degrees, Whyte now. Under big pressure, another right hand from Joshua. And a left hook from Dillian Whyte gets through. And now it's Joshua who's under pressure. Joshua in big trouble. Having been on the attack, now he's under pressure. And this is turning into a remarkable slugfest between two big hitters. Neither man has gone down yet, but they've both been hurt, and hurt badly. And there's still 50 seconds to go in round number 2. Joshua having to answer the question, can he take a big shot? So far he has. He lands a right uppercut, then 2 successive left hooks. Dillian Whyte goes to the body. The two men already, with the second round not yet over, are already desperately tired. Left-right combination from Anthony Joshua. He leans in, makes Whyte miss with a right hand, but he doesn't have the energy to follow up with a counter punch. Whyte with a right hand, a right uppercut from Joshua gets through. The two men landing almost simultaneously here. Both men have landed so solidly throughout the round. Left hook to the body from Whyte. Left hook from Joshua lands only on the right elbow of Whyte, but such was the power. Whyte was taken off his feet just for a moment, but he fires straight back. And at the end of the round there, what an exhibition of boxing. Powerful, heavy punching, heavyweight boxing, and this place has exploded. Richie Woodhall.
The question has been answered there, Mike. You alluded to it earlier in the round, because Anthony Joshua took a shot there that would have probably floored most heavyweights. He was on the attack. He looked like he was going to stop Dillian Whyte, but he left himself wide open, and he walks onto an absolutely barnstormer of a punch. It was a left hook. I've just seen on my monitor. His legs went. He had to hold. He had to try and get his senses back, and he did just that. Dillian Whyte threw absolutely everything, because he knew he'd caught Anthony Joshua with that left hook. He knew he'd hurt him, and he knew he'd shaking him, so he put everything in to try and stop it, and he didn't. But Mike, they're both so tired. I think Anthony Joshua's more tired than Dillian Whyte. Tremendous.
Round 3, Joshua began the fight at 14-1 on. Dillian Whyte at 8-1. It's no better than even money now. It's impossible to know which way this will go. Joshua gets back to his boxing ability. Starts with a raking jab at the beginning of this 3rd round. Who could have imagined that Dillian Whyte would have put up a fight like this outside of his camp? He tries a left hook, but he takes a better one high on his own head from Joshua. He tries another left hook right hand combination, does Whyte, but Joshua saw it coming. That 60 seconds rest appears to have done him the world of good. He's seeing things much more clearly now. He stands in the centre of the ring, does Joshua. Tries a left hook as Dillian Whyte came forward with his latest attack. A jab from Joshua, again lands high on the head of Whyte. Another jab gets through from Joshua as Whyte throws that familiar combination, left-right, and then follows that up with left-right-left. But they didn't get through. A right hand does land from Dillian Whyte, but Joshua took it well in the centre of the ring and immediately replies with a sharp jab, and you see a plume of spray rising from the head of Dillian Whyte, who holds his ground in the centre of the ring. And there's just an anguished look on the face of Anthony Joshua here as he tries to work out a way of landing something solid and something clean on the chin of Dillian Whyte. This is the 3rd round of the contest, and Anthony Joshua has never heard the bell at the end of the 3rd round in his professional career, which is 14 fights and just over 2 years old. The crowd are trying to get behind him here, and he pokes out his tongue again at Whyte as Whyte comes forward, lands a big right hand. Joshua, that was a solid shot. Best punch of the 3rd round so far. Minute and 20 seconds to go. Joshua tries to size up his man once again to tee up another one of those big overhand rights. He lands with a lovely right uppercut, then a left hook, and Whyte noticeably just backs off for a moment, but comes back immediately with a left-right-left combination, then switches to the southpaw stance, does Whyte, and has success to the body. Into the final minute of round number 3. You've never seen so many punches thrown in 3 rounds of a heavyweight contest in this country. Tremendous work from both men. Who will be the first to tire? Who will be the first to wilt? Will it be Anthony Joshua, Olympic gold medalist, just across the water from here in the famous Excel Centre at London 2012? Whyte backs off, takes a right hand. He's driven back to the ropes just above us. Whyte close to his own corner, works away to the body of Joshua. Another left hook to the body from Joshua, though, was another solid shot. The cleaner, harder shots in this round are being landed by Anthony Joshua, but there as he lands a jab, so Whyte immediately came back at him. And so smart is Whyte. He's looking at all these shots coming at him from Joshua, trying to take them on the gloves and then come back with a reply of his own. Last few seconds of the 3rd round. A fairly even round, it has to be said. Heavier shots generally landing from Anthony Joshua, but a right hand sneaks its way through from Whyte towards the end of this round. In the centre of the ring, the 2 men now flick out a jab. One to the head from Joshua, one to the body from Whyte. Richie Woodhall, the 3rd round. Who did you score it to?
Well, Mike, I've got it 2-1 now for Anthony Joshua, but you just get the sense and the feeling that the longer this contest goes, that Dillian Whyte is growing in confidence, and that's mainly because he probably feels that he's taken Anthony Joshua's best shots and he's come through it. What I would say about Dillian Whyte, he's got very good powers of recovery. He was shaking in that round with a right hook left hook combination, but within 3 or 4 seconds then he seemed to responded, and he recovered rather. So I'm very impressed with his powers of recovery. He's coming through it, and I just think that he's gaining more confidence. With Anthony Joshua, he's got to relax a little bit. He's still loading up. He's trying to knock Dillian out with every shot. He's not using his height and reach. But I would say just swinging towards Dillian Whyte, the further this contest going, up to now anyway. 2-1 Joshua.
So new territory for Anthony Joshua into the 4th round in his professional career for the first time. And Dillian Whyte starts well at the start of the round, but he walks into a left hook from Joshua, who tries to follow up with a right hand. And again, a left-right combination from Joshua. Then he throws a left hook and another big overhand right. Success for Joshua at the beginning of this 4th round. But straight away, Whyte comes back at him. And now Whyte's legs betray him. Solid shot from Joshua. Will he go after his man, or will he be more calculated here? He knows he nearly punched himself out earlier in the contest. He lands another left hook. and Whyte is looking untidy. Moves to the centre of the ring and grabs on to Joshua. Joshua tries to extricate himself from that clinch and to work away on the inside. Referee Howard Foster taps them on the arms and tells them to step back. And they're both again in the centre of the ring. A slapping right hand from Whyte lands on the nose of Anthony Joshua, who makes Whyte miss with a jab and then throws a right hand that just grazed the chin of Dillian Whyte. Didn't land with the power that was intended when Joshua sent that shot on its way. The fourth round, we're into the second minute of it. Dillian Whyte with two jabs, then a right hand and then a slap of a left hook, landed high on the head of Joshua. Joshua reaching for the big right hand, and Dillian Whyte saw it coming. Joshua telegraphed it, told the man that it was coming, and so Dillian Whyte stepped back out of range. Good work to the body, followed by a hook to the head from Joshua. Smart work on the inside. The body punching, working really well, and he opens up again and lands a crisp right uppercut on the chin of Dillian Whyte. But Whyte, as he's done virtually every time in the contest, comes straight back, holds his ground, holds firmly, plants his feet in the centre of the ring, and then fires back. The punches are not necessarily landing. They're certainly not hurting Joshua at this stage, but he might well be demoralising Joshua. And Joshua now lands a huge right hand. How did Dillian Whyte take that punch? It sent one of his legs winging behind the other, but somehow he regained his composure and came straight back once again, although now he is on the back foot. Does he need time to recover from that particular shot? 50 seconds to go in round number 4. Joshua standing stock still in front of his man, flicks out a jab. It's a weak jab, goes forward with a right uppercut that landed only on the glove of Whyte, but a follow-up left hook did get through. Whyte wings in a hook come uppercut, and that was buried into the gloves of Joshua. Would have been dangerous if it landed on the chin. Whyte bounced onto the ropes once again, but comes off the ropes. Joshua left-right combination. Whyte's cornermen are imploring their man to come forward. They're convinced Joshua's tired here and he's ready for the taking, but Joshua is holding that ground in the centre of the ring, trying to dominate from there, trying to command the fight from there. A feint from Dillian Whyte, and a second one. Gets set to throw a jab towards the body. Is he trying to throw the overhand right? He is. It just whistles past the chin of Joshua. Left hand to the body from Whyte. Misses with a follow-up right hand. Last few seconds of round number 4. And at the end of the round, once again, referee Howard Foster has to separate the two men. And Dillian Whyte bounces back to his corner on what has to be said, look, very tired legs. Richie Woodhall.
Well, it was a Joshua round, but emotions are still playing a big part in this contest, Mike. Excuse me, because what's happening here is Joshua's still loading up with every shot, and for me, sometimes he's choosing the wrong tactics. He's trying to beat his opponent at what his opponent's best at doing. In its short and mid-range, he's still stepping in, throwing bent arm work. We've had a couple of instances where Joshua's worked very well on the inside, 3 or 4 shots, but his basic strength, Joshua, for me, is boxing a range behind his jab, beyond that long straight right hand. He's still emotionally caught up in the contest. He wants to knock the fella out at his own game. He wants to beat Dillian Whyte at what he does best, mid-range, toe-to-toe stuff, and it's wrong for me.
Briefly, you've got Joshua in front.
Yes, I have 3 rounds to 1.
Into the 5th round we go then, and many suspected it wouldn't go this far. It was described as the biggest test of his career, and it's turned out to be exactly that for Anthony Joshua, the Olympic champion from not too far from here at London 2012 in the super heavyweight division. And he's looking very tired, very laboured as he aims a left hand towards the body of Dillian Whyte. Whyte gets through with a sharp right hand, the heaviest punch of this 5th round so far, with Joshua just above us. Now gradually makes his way back towards the centre of the ring, and it's still a very animated style from Dillian Whyte. That 60 seconds seems to have served him well, but a right hand from Joshua gets through and the crowd respond. But Whyte smiles and moves back and sways from the waist. He rolls the gloves as if to say, is that all you've got? Because you're going to need more to dispatch me here from this ring here tonight. It's a huge opportunity for Dillian Whyte also. All the talk has been of Joshua against Hay, Joshua against Fury, Joshua for the world title. But what about Dillian Whyte? Because those prizes could well be his if he can cause another huge upset here tonight. We saw one 2 weeks ago in Dusseldorf with Tyson Fury beating Vladimir Klitschko, and he's one on the cards here. We've got Joshua in front so far as he lands a pinpoint right hand. It was a straight right hand, straight out of the amateur copybook, and it landed flush on the jaw of Dillian Whyte. But for the umpteenth time in this contest, Whyte took it. Another heavy right from Joshua lands, then a jab. Good work from Joshua, and that sends Dillian Whyte onto the back foot. He hasn't been doing that too often, too voluntarily, and he works away to the body again, does Dillian Whyte, after taking some very strong, solid, punishing shots from Joshua, who covers up well inside Joshua after the latest attack from Dillian Whyte. 1 minute and 10 seconds to go in round 5 of this absorbing contest. They've probably thrown more punches already than Fury and Klitschko threw in 12 rounds altogether 2 weeks ago, but this is a very different kind of contest, and still difficult to work out who's going to win here. You still get the feeling that one punch or one cluster might turn it round in favour of either man. It's that close. Left hook, right hand combination from Joshua. He stands in close, lands another left hook high on the chin of Dillian Whyte, who again absorbs it well. That chin's like a sponge, it just bounces off it. But Joshua steps forward once again, tries to drive Whyte back to the ropes, far side of the ring. A warning from the referee to Joshua of landing a low blow with the right uppercut. It was aimed at the chin, but he just mistimed it, didn't get the right timing and the right direction on that shot. 20 seconds to go in round number 5. The two men in a close quarter clinch, close to the ropes right above us here at ringside at the O2 Arena, in front of nearly 20,000 people engrossed in this contest. What a spectacle. Heavyweight boxing. And still the uncertainty in the air, no knowing which of these two men might find the punch to finish it. Surely it won't go 12 rounds, or will it? That's the end of 5 rounds, and now let's head over to the corner, and a very slow walk back to it for Anthony Joshua and his trainer Tony Sims.
Tell me how you feel, John.
Round by round, innit?
Yeah, right, tell me how you feel.
Round by round.
Well, mate, that was a good round there. You boxed easy, you keep your shots out of the bag, and you moved your feet when he was punching. See how easy it is? When he punches, move your feet round and come back on again.
Interesting there, Richie, that Tony Sims asking Anthony Joshua how he was feeling.
Yeah, because he looks tired in there, doesn't he? I think it was another round for Joshua, but out of the two boxers, you would think that looking at them, Whyte looks a little bit fresher, Mike. He looks a little bit more relaxed. I think Joshua still looks a bit stiff. He's loading up with his shots, putting everything into every shot to try and knock the guy out. He's got to relax a little bit more, but he's winning this contest. But Whyte is gaining in confidence, like I said before.
Round 6.
So Anthony Joshua, who'd never before been beyond 3 rounds, against Dillian Whyte, who'd never before been beyond 4 rounds. And here we are into round number 6. There were huge, lanky odds against this fight going into the second half, but we're creeping ever closer. We're into round number 6. Anthony Joshua, 14 fights unbeaten, and all of them inside the distance. Dillian Whyte, 16 fights unbeaten, all but 3 of those inside schedule. The two men make a laboured start to this round, but there was a good left hand to the body from Joshua, followed by a right hand over the top to the head. He drew down the left arm of Dillian Whyte and then landed a very solid right hand. And again, credit to Whyte for taking it and standing his ground and throwing a right hand towards the body as well. You could hear the slap as it landed, just as Joshua tried to make his way away. A low blow from Joshua there as he signalled to throw an uppercut, but he was crowded out by Whyte. 2 successive jabs from Joshua. They didn't really land with any firmness though. He stands stock still in front of his man, having been told by Tony Sims in his corner to move his feet, and now Whyte has success with a right uppercut, a punch that's been so effective for Anthony Joshua throughout the contest. And the crowd now getting behind Joshua, although the punches he's throwing have been landing only on the gloves and the forearms of Whyte. Whyte covering up very impressively, throws a couple of jabs and then a couple of backhanded right hands, awkward right hands from Whyte, but they're keeping Anthony Joshua distracted, keeping the big man thinking. Joshua, 17 stone and 7 pounds, and Whyte gets through with a big right hand, and this time it's sweat that sprays from the head of Anthony Joshua, who shakes his head and says that didn't hurt me, but he shouldn't be taking those kinds of punches. He certainly wouldn't survive at a higher level, but this is turning into a valuable process in the professional career of Anthony Joshua, who opens up with 4 or 5 clean, almost single punches here, covers up, and again just shows a sign of mock contempt in the face of Dillian Whyte here. Dillian Whyte is breathing very heavily now. Maybe he's starting to feel it more so than Joshua. Joshua, with his back to the ropes, moves around nonchalantly towards his right, back towards the centre of the ring, trying to tee off these single shots. The overhand right in particular and the left hook to the body have been very, very effective so far, but they haven't managed to get Dillian Whyte out of there, and he hasn't been down on the canvas yet, even though Whyte has taken some very heavy punishment across the first 5 rounds and most of this 6th round now. 20 seconds to go in round 6. 2 jabs from Whyte. Joshua sees them both coming, makes him miss. Then a right hand from Whyte is easily evaded also. Joshua, good defensive work, and as he makes Whyte miss with a jab, so he pings in a right hand as well. Wonderful work from Joshua, who seems to be gradually getting it all together now. Works away to the body with a cluster of uppercuts and then finishes off the combination with a hook to the head. Misses with a second of those hooks. As the bell sounds at the end of the round, they would happily go for afters, but referee Howard Foster steps in between them, and we reach halfway, Richie Woodhall.
Incredible round that was, Mike, in terms of it slowed down a little bit, but I can see what Dillian Whyte is doing here now. He's prepared just to stay on the outside, try and soak up all the punishment from his opponents. He's keeping his hands very high, and it's very difficult for Anthony Joshua to actually catch him with a clean punch. He's throwing plenty of power shots, fast punches, but nothing is really hitting the target absolutely cleanly. It's just brushing, scraping the side, hitting the arms. It's very difficult to actually catch Dillian Whyte. I'm just looking at my monitor. When Dillian Whyte actually came forward there, he got caught with a shot on the chest. He made a mistake of coming forward, but I can see what he's doing. He's staying on the outside. He's trying to make Joshua punch himself out, and Joshua's got to relax a little bit.
So into the second half of the contest. British Championship Boxing on 5 Live, and the future of Anthony Joshua, the Olympic super heavyweight gold medalist, at stake here. Will it be interrupted in terms of his flow towards the world title, or will he overcome the stiff resistance of Dillian Whyte, and will he pass the stiffest test of his professional career so far? Such excitement here on 5 Live. Another terrific boxing night here into the late evening here at the O2 Arena. It's Joshua's 5th appearance here, and by some margin it's his toughest. And he lands a jab followed by a big right hand, but noticeably Whyte takes it, and even more noticeably so, Whyte throws punches of his own almost immediately afterwards to send a message to Joshua to try and demoralise him. But that was a big right hand from Joshua, and finally the resistance of Dillian Whyte is broken here. He's desperately holding on. This time the legs have gone. A left hook from Joshua. He's got to compose himself here now. Joshua's winging away. He's made to miss by Whyte. A jab from Joshua gets through. Whyte is virtually running away now. He's on such unsteady legs. He can barely stand up. An uppercut from Joshua. A left hook. Whyte is still on the ropes on the far side of the ring. 1 minute and 45 seconds to go in round number 7. Joshua tees up a right hand, and Dillian Whyte goes down from another pulverizing right hand. He will not be beating the count. Referee Howard Foster doesn't even start the count. It is all over in blistering fashion in the 7th round of a memorable contest. Dillian Whyte, so brave, so game, is still trying to get to his feet. He still isn't aware that his challenge is over, as Anthony Joshua goes around to all 4 corner posts, takes the acclaim of the crowd. Anthony Joshua has knocked out Dillian Whyte in the 7th round of the most explosive heavyweight contest, the stiffest test of his career. He's passed it, but for so much of it, he looked at times as if it might go against him. What a performance from Anthony Joshua. So many questions were asked in there this evening about his chin, about his stamina, about his heart, and about his talent. But all of the questions have been answered. And the unbeaten streak continues for Anthony Joshua. 15 fights unbeaten. And the name of Joshua is now added to the likes of Lennox Lewis and Henry Cooper. He is the new British heavyweight champion.
What a tremendous display from Anthony Joshua there, Mike, because you were quite right. At times it didn't look like it was going his way, but he came of age tonight because he answered every question that everyone was asking, whether he could take a shot, what was he going to be like after 4 or 5 rounds, and it was tough in there, and Dillian Whyte really played his part. He pushed Anthony Joshua every step of the way, caught him time and again, wobbled him at one stage, and he got through it. But the finish there, Mike, in that round, all started with a right hook, a terrific single shot. Dillian Whyte just relaxed for a split second, and Joshua seen that he's relaxed, threw a right hook, caught him, and then wouldn't let him off the hook. but it was the right uppercut after that, just above us, that actually finished him off, because at one stage it looked like Dillian Whyte was going to get through it. He went to the ropes, he went along the ropes and seemed to be able to get away. He was regaining his senses again, but then he come round just above us and he gets caught with a right uppercut, and it's a right uppercut that would have knocked King Kong out, never mind Dillian Whyte. It was a terrific shot, probably the hardest punch of the contest, and he wasn't getting up from that. Tremendous contest, because he answered every question, Mike, there tonight.
I think wherever Anthony Joshua goes from here, Richie, the journey is going to be so spectacular.
Yeah, I'm just watching this just above us now. I'm just watching on the monitor. The right hook, it was on the temple. That started the ball rolling. But Dillian Whyte, like we said before, has got great powers of recovery. He seemed to recover from it. He went to the ropes. He held Joshua. Joshua couldn't get the clean shot to finish him off, and he held him, he gripped him. The referee was looking, but then, as he went along the ropes, he just came above us, and he gets caught with an uppercut. It's the best shot Anthony Joshua has thrown in his career, Mike. But I'm just looking at the monitor now. Dillian Whyte looking like he was going to get through it. What a storm he would have got through also. But as I'm looking now, Mike, he just comes above us now, and there's that right uppercut. And you hear the crowd, they're seeing it on the monitor, Mike. What a right uppercut that was. Tremendous.
And Dillian Whyte falling in a helpless heap just above us here at ringside, with one of his arms straggling the second rope of 4 here. There was such game resistance, and every time they watch it here, there's a gasp and a woo here, because it doesn't get any less painful the more times you see it. It doesn't get any less sensational. A brilliant finish by Anthony Joshua, and he found that power. We should remind you, in the 7th round, the power was still there. Eventually, he broke down Dillian Whyte, and that game resistance, and Whyte still being attended to in his corner, still sat on the stool just to our right here, as Anthony Joshua sprays himself with water, and Michael Buffer now takes up his position in the centre of the ring, and very shortly we will have the official verdict, as Dillian Whyte now does finally get to his feet. What a game performance, as he tried to get up time and time again. Even 30 seconds after he'd gone down, he still thought he could beat the count. What a test it was for Anthony Joshua in his 15th professional contest. A reminder to some that it's a long way away from a world title shot for Anthony Joshua, but the way he pulled that one out certainly shows that he's got the necessary resilience, he's got the necessary heart, and he's certainly got the necessary power to do a lot of damage all the way to the top. We're still waiting for the official verdict. It finished in the 7th round of this pulsating contest here. So much drama across the contest. At one stage it looked as though Anthony Joshua would be the man to get stopped. Brilliant work by Dillian Whyte.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes at 1 minute, 27 seconds, round number 7. The winner by knockout victory, now 15-0, 15 KOs, and he is the unified Commonwealth and British heavyweight champion, the fighting pride of the UK, Joshua Anthony Joshua.
Never has he been extended like that in his professional career, but Anthony Joshua has overcome the difficulties earlier in the contest and takes the belt now wrapped proudly around his waist. He was telling me in the build-up how much that would mean to him. He is the new British heavyweight champion, and deservedly so, Richie Woodhall.
Yeah, deservedly so. Tremendous display. But at the end of the day also, Mike, they'll go back, they'll look at the tape, and they won't be happy with certain things that he did. He got too emotional in there. At times he was just trying to knock his opponent out with every shot, and he seemed to be getting tired and tired. But he came through it, and he got caught with a hell of a punch, Mike, that probably would have floored a lot of heavyweights. But he came through that himself. So yeah, a lot of questions were answered in there tonight, and he has got the stamina. Like I said, I've seen him spar 14, 15 rounds. I know he can, but it just, in there, Mike, he just looked a little bit too tense at times. He's a big man, similar to the Frank Bruno type of thing, in that he's got a lot of muscle. Mike has got to carry it around, and when you're loading up and when you're not hitting the target, Mike, that tires you out. But what a tremendous finish. He caught him with those shots, Mike, and like I say, they would have knocked anyone out. Let's get it right.
And Anthony Joshua being interviewed in the ring at the moment, and everybody watching on the 4 screens around. We'll hope to get a word with him ourselves in just a moment when he makes his way down from the ring, having come through the toughest test by some margin of his career so far. And it has to be said that he looks pretty much unmarked, apart from a slight lump on the left-hand side of his right cheekbone, just beneath that right eye. Very, very strong comeback when he looked like he was going to get knocked out himself at one stage in the contest. Big round that one for Dillian Whyte. And Dillian Whyte also will have plenty to offer for the rest of his career, but this for him is a huge setback, and all the focus now will be on Anthony Joshua and his march towards the world heavyweight title. But this will have reminded everybody that that is some way away.
It is some way away, Mike, but like I said before, I think the occasion, the emotion, he was trying too hard to knock the guy out with every shot, and he kept missing the target. He couldn't actually nail him with a big shot at times during the middle part of that contest. And I said earlier that if he catches him clean, or he can't catch him clean, but then Dillian just dropped his guard a little bit, 7th round, and he gets caught with a terrific right hook, and that really started the ball rolling. But Dillian looked like he was going to get through it. He tried to grab Joshua, he tried to do everything to avoid getting stopped. And as the time went on, 10, 20, 30 seconds went by, you thought he's going to get through this. But then Joshua, like I've said before, is very good on the inside also. So when they come together, he produces a short-range right uppercut with such power and devastation that there's no way that Dillian Whyte could actually recover from that. And let's face it, Dillian Whyte recovered from almost everything else. He recovered from good right hands, good left hooks, but there was no getting up from that right uppercut, because this fella produced the knockout shot of his whole career. And you know what, Mike, he probably won't have tougher fights for a world title than that, because you won't see many world championship fights, Mike, with so many punches thrown. That was a credit to both camps for getting their guys in tremendous condition. 2 fit lads.
And how this will have resonated around the world. We've been calling for so long for excitement to be reintroduced to the heavyweight division. We saw that there this evening.
Absolutely, from round 1, the first 2 or 3 rounds, it was a bit like Hagler-Hearns. Everything was going, that first round and into the second round, everything was going, everything was being thrown, they were hitting the target, they were both shaken, they both came back, they came through it. It was a tremendous, like I say, I haven't seen 7 rounds of heavyweight boxing like that since I was a kid watching the likes of Ali and Larry Holmes. That was a tremendous display from both boxers, and let's face it, neither of them have been past 4 or 5 rounds, so all credit to them.
And when we talk about Tyson Fury and the potential of a showdown between the two of them, do you think after what we've seen tonight, that's moved further away in terms of time?
Yeah, I think it probably has, Mike. I always said that if he's going to get in with Tyson Fury, I thought Anthony Joshua was going to win this fight, as many people did, but I still thought that it would probably be 18 months away. You know, you've got to have your Klitschko return, and this guy then, he's just speaking above us, but he's got to be tested over the 12 rounds. But there, Mike, he answered the questions for me, because he was caught with a big shot and he was tested over 7 severe rounds. Like you said earlier in the commentary, they probably threw more punches in those first 5 rounds than what Tyson Fury did and Vladimir Klitschko did in the whole of the 12. So all credit to them, but I still think it's 18 months away. If Tyson hangs on to the title, then we're heading for a massive all-British world title showdown.
But as we wait for him to leave the ring here and to give us his verdict, what would you say was the biggest plus about the performance of Joshua tonight?
The biggest plus for me was him taking that shot early in that second or third round, was it, when he took the big punch, because there was plenty of time for Dillian Whyte to finish Joshua off, and it was a big shot, it was a big left hook, and he was wobbled, he really was, Mike, and he came through it. That was the plus for me. He showed great determination to come through that. Let's face it, Mike, we've seen it before, and I used to love the guy Frank Bruno, but when Frank used to get caught with a big shot like that, then his senses seemed to go and he couldn't really recover. Joshua had to recover in that round, otherwise it would have been all over, but he did. He came through it, Mike, so that for me was the biggest plus. But there's still a lot of negatives there. He's still got to work on a few things. He was too emotionally caught up in the contest tonight, and he'll learn from that, but hey, he'll go on to bigger and better things.
He will do, and here in the commotion at ringside, heavily populated, we're still waiting for Tyson Fury, for Anthony Joshua, who's hopefully heading towards Tyson Fury to come out of the ring and give us his verdict on his win here tonight in 7 rounds in an unforgettable contest against Dillian Whyte. Having the photographs taken in centre ring with his mother and father, he says have been such an important part of his development. And also around him here this evening, members of Finchley Amateur Boxing Club, where it all began for him at the age of 18. And he's coming closer now to the ring apron, and I'll just grab a word with him now as I'll step up. Anthony Joshua, congratulations. That was so tough. Give us your verdict.
It was a tough fight, but I managed to come through. I'm happy, that's all. I know I've got a lot to learn. Getting to the top ain't as easy as just going there and blitz everyone out. That's why I say no hype. But I'm trying hard, and I'm going to keep on working forward to my dreams. And wherever my hard work takes me, it's better than where I started.
So many people said, Anthony, that they wanted to see you take a heavy shot. You did tonight. You wobbled slightly. How badly hurt were you?
You see I come through. I got heart. I'm going to keep on going. You know, he's a powerful guy. He's got knockouts himself, but he just keep on rolling, you know. Roll with the shots. That's why you got to listen to your coaches in the gym, because these things do happen in a boxing ring, you know. And it's just how you handle it and keep on going. Hold, slip, slide, you know, keep your head moving, don't get hit with flush shots. And then you recover and you get back to doing what you do. Simple. Boxing is not complicated.
Another question, and you well know, is that can he go rounds? How were you feeling as you went into the second half?
Don't get me wrong. When you're in with a game opponent, it's tough, but everything that you do in a 10-week camp subconsciously takes you through. Even when, like as you said, you do come on balance and so on. It's just what you do day in and day out in the gym. You just keep on going. And when it got to 8 rounds, I really believed that I could go to 12, because we do work hard in the gym. And when I look at the clock in the gym and it's 30 seconds gone, I'm recovering, and I felt that in the corner. So no matter how many times I went back to the corner, I would have come out to the last bell for sure.
Such a valuable experience in there tonight.
Yeah, I'd like to rematch Dillian, not for the fact that he's going to beat me, but for the fact that he can give me rounds. And that's what everyone says I need. So we can do this again if people want and he wants, because it's what I need, you know.
I don't think there's anybody leaving here tonight would refuse a return of this. But you said you've got to listen to your corner. Did you listen too much to your emotions tonight?
No, because I saw him hurt. And that's a killer instinct. He was hurt in the first round. So I wanted to go in there and get the job done. Whether it's first or 12, you don't get paid for overtime in boxing. But he's very strong, very game. You know, I kept on hurting him with certain shots, and the left hook wasn't working. So I thought, okay, what's the shot that's going to catch him without getting caught? And I started teeing up the right hand. And when that started landing, you know, as the rounds went on, I kept on working on it. And that's what I need. That's what a fight's about. As the rounds go on, if the jab don't work, use a left hook. If that don't work, use a right hand. And that's why I need the rounds to start working my boxing brain.
We asked you in the build-up how far away you think you are from Tyson Fury and the world stage. Now, after tonight, what's your thoughts?
Still far away, because, as you see, my teammate Luke Campbell unfortunately didn't get the decision. What I understand is that becoming an elite athlete in a sport that's so tough, it don't happen overnight. You just don't come into pro boxing and become world champion. But what I will say is I've got the ambition, the desire, and a good team that will get me there. But we're going to do it in our time, and I'm not going to let anyone rush me, because when I'm there, I'm going to stay. I'm not there for a flash. And that's why I really want to get it right. And this, today, after 2 years, is what I finally needed. So I'll only give Dillian credit, as I said, for being the man to take me past 3 rounds.
Well, congratulations. The sweat of Anthony Joshua dripping onto the microphone. A hard night's work. Well done, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Eddie Hearn alongside the promoter. Eddie, what did you make of that? We're still catching our breath.
What a fight. I mean, what a night of boxing, mate. I mean, you could tell even by the interview he gave there, the problem he had in that fight was emotion. And after 2 rounds, the nervous energy, we've seen it before, David Price when he fought Tony Thompson, all of a sudden, the legs, and I think one thing Anthony Joshua proved tonight is he has a great chin, because he took 4 or 5 absolute haymakers off Dillian Whyte, who can really punch. I mean, it had it all. The ring invasion after 1 round, never seen anything quite like it. After 2 or 3 rounds, I was concerned. Then he seemed to gain his composure, AJ. He was definitely tired. And then what a finish. I mean, what a finish. Because at that stage, I'm sitting there thinking, this could go to points. Both guys are starting to look a little bit tired. But AJ found that second wind, and what a finish. I mean, whether it's 1 round, 2 rounds, 3 rounds, or was it 7 rounds, 6 rounds? It gives you value for money every time, doesn't it? I mean, pure excitement, but a lot to learn. You know, this is why when people say to me, put him in with Fury, put him in with Klitschko, put him in with Wilder, we'll get there. But we have to go through this journey, and that was so important. Not just the fight, but the experience. You know, a lot of pressure on this young man's shoulders. You know, 14 fights, he's headlining a pay-per-view card in front of 18,000 people at the O2. You know, carrying a bill of, you know, Eubank, Mitchell, Bellew, Campbell, Malik Naji, all, you know, and he's headlining. And sometimes it can catch up with you, and I'm telling you, after 2 rounds, it caught up with him. And the experience he'll gain tonight through the pre-fight, the post-fight, the fight itself will be vital in him becoming heavyweight champion of the world.
And I can see the excitement oozing from you as well. We're still feeling it after commentary at ringside, but just to slow down slightly, where do you think next now?
Well, I mean, you know, funnily enough, I felt like that fight would be over in 3 or 4 rounds, and it was nearly over in 1 round, wasn't it? But actually, I was already thinking to myself, we need a fight like we had tonight next before we go, and we've had that. So, you know, I think we go away and recoup with a team. You know, the division's on fire at the moment. You know, the IBF title's being contested between Glasgow and Charles Martin. You know, we could look for a winner of that in the summer. I don't think that was the best Anthony Joshua tonight. I think it was the most exciting. But you could even see how sloppy he was in the early rounds, talking to Dillian. He had his hands down, Joshua, almost asking him to hit him. And every time he was punching him, he was talking to him. You can't do that. You're going to burn energy. And that's what he did in the fight. And I don't know how he found that finish, to be honest with you, because it was like he was starting from the first round all over again. He's immensely fit. People talk about he carries too much muscle, he can't do the rounds. He can. And that was, you know, I can't believe it's taken this long to go 6 full rounds.
Well, and in those 6 rounds, the full rounds and a decent bit of the 7th round, Eddie, in heavyweight terms, there was as much punching as is often done in 12 rounds anyway.
Listen, one thing you'll always be guaranteed with Anthony Joshua is value for money, excitement. There's not one person that will leave the O2 tonight and didn't say, I cannot believe the value I got for my pound note. And that's why, of course, he is an ambassador for the sport. He's a role model. He's turned his life around. But he can really fight, but we're still learning. You know, and I think tonight people will say Anthony Joshua's the real deal, but there's a little bit of work to do. And that's okay, because there is. But he will bring you excitement. He has a great chin, don't worry about that. He has plenty of heart. Dillian Whyte was sinking them into his body. And they hit him with a lot of hard, tough body shots, especially when Anthony was tired. But he found a way to come back in the fight and produce just one of the best heavyweight finishes I've seen. And 17,000 people in the O2 just erupted.
And at the end of a great night's boxing, congratulations, Eddie. Thanks for your time. See you in the build-up to the next one. So Anthony Joshua there saying that he believes emotions didn't really get the better of him here, but Eddie Hearn contradicting him, believing that it did. I suppose somewhere in the middle is right, Richie Woodhall, that emotions clearly did play a part at some stage, but he did then, you know, in rounds 6 and 7 in particular, start to calm down, start to think about his boxing.
Emotions definitely played a part, Mike. I could tell the way he was boxing and the way he was loading up and trying to put everything into every shot to knock him out. That's emotion for you. He wanted to knock him out and wanted to really embarrass the fella, if you like, and because he'd got the win over him as an amateur, and Dillian Whyte had always played on that, and it got to Joshua a little bit in his mind. And I agree with Eddie Hearn in terms of headlining a massive bill here at the O2, but it was personal between Anthony Joshua and Dillian Whyte, no question, because the way he boxed, he didn't box with his normal flowing rhythm with that jab and long straight right hand. He went to his man, he really put it on him. He went into the other guy's territory, into mid and short range, and took risks, and he took a massive risk in that he got caught with a massive shot, you know, and he recovered, and all credit to him. I totally agree with what people are saying around the ring, that he's answered the questions, certainly about taking a shot, but there people will still say, well, he hasn't gone 10 rounds, he hasn't gone 12 rounds. You won't see many heavyweight fights like that over 7 rounds with both boxers throwing so many shots that are hitting the target. And then occasionally Anthony Joshua was missing with punches, and that was tiring him out, but then he got back to the corner and then he recomposed himself, and he knew he had to do a little bit better and get his accuracy back. And in the 7th round the accuracy came back. That one single right hook that caught Dillian Whyte high on the temple, that was the punch that scrambled the senses, and then he ran for cover and he tried to get away, and then Joshua was still missing the target, but when he came around us after about 20 or 30 seconds, he connected with the best shot of the contest, a short range right uppercut that he just could not recover from. And there wouldn't have been a heavyweight in the world that would have recovered from it, in my opinion, because Dillian Whyte, let's face it, Mike, what a tough kid. He took some big shots in there, and a lot of other heavyweights would have been gone a lot earlier than that, but he came through it. But that one shot, that finished him off.
Tick tough, and he'd said through the build-up, much the same as Tyson Fury, that he would deliver on the night, he would bring his best performance on the night. In the end, he was outpunched by Anthony Joshua, nowhere near being outclassed. He was with him for so much of the contest, but I think Anthony Joshua will learn so much from that particular contest. He's still in the ring at the moment, talking to friends and his cornerman, and to Eddie Hearn and to Michael Buffer, still going through the fight. He's still shadowboxing in there, still going over what was happening.
And Mike, it was a tremendous contest, but I'll tell you what, it wasn't a tremendous display from Anthony Joshua, because he'll go back, he'll look at the tape, he knows where he went wrong, he know that he got emotionally caught up in it too much, he know that he didn't throw enough jabs. I think he could have beat Dillian Whyte in a much better fashion in terms of totally outboxing him, but he gave the crowd what they wanted to see, and what he wanted to see, because he wanted to knock the guy out spectacularly. He did, but in doing that, he took a lot of risks, and he nearly paid the price. But that's the heavyweight division, and that's what brings so much excitement to it.
Now, a lot of people were saying in the build-up to this fight that next up for Joshua, expecting tonight's fight to have lasted much less than it did, would be Derek Chisora. Would you see that still a feasible opponent, a reasonable opponent next time round?
I think he beats Derek Chisora far easier.
But do you think it's a good test?
Yes, I think it would be a test, but I would still put my money on Joshua doing a better job than most heavyweights against Derek Chisora. And also, Mike, I think that... Hello there, Paulie. I'm just saying hello to Paulie Malignaggi there. I think that Derek Chisora would be a good test, Mike. But for me, Dillian Whyte has got a big future in the game still, Mike. Dillian Whyte. I think there'll be a couple of world champions out there, even Tyson Fury. Maybe Deontay Wilder will say, yeah, I'll give that kid a shot, because he's a tough kid. But yes, answering your question, I think Derek Chisora would be a good test.